We're talking a lot about these top 100 players voted by the players. Carson Wentz is not in the top 100 list as voted on by the players. Now, in Mike Sando's list, Sando, of course, joined us from The Athletic. You missed that. Download the podcast. He was 11th overall, tier 2 quarterback. One GM said, I really like the guy. When he plays, he can be a 1. But injuries and the fact that they did not need him to win the Super Bowl against the Patriots, and they won with a guy who I think is a 4, makes it tough to push him higher. People say he's elite, and at times he may be, but he's inconsistent. I think that's fair analysis of Carson Wentz. Been hurt a lot, been a little bit inconsistent. They didn't have a lot of players last year. Hard exactly to tell if he's great or just really, really good. But when he plays, he appears to be really, really good and close to great. I think that's fair. The player thing kind of feels like a joke. I would say the player thing has a lot to do with how much he gets paid. And the fact that when he got paid, he wasn't great last year, going back to last year. You know, not this previous year before. He had gotten paid, they won a Super Bowl, and he struggled coming off an ACL, and then he got this massive contract, and he was just okay. You know, he's still trying to shake the Foles thing. Like, I actually think that when Foles went away, and then Foles got beat out in Jacksonville and now traded to a reasonable person should be like, Foles isn't that good, but that actually somehow has hurt Carson Wentz. She's like, wait, Foles was as good or better in that system, and Foles is now potentially a backup in Chicago? That doesn't make any sense. But I'm a Wentz believer. I think Wentz is much better than he's listed. I don't think he's 11th overall. Like, if I was putting together my list, I would have Mahomes 1. I would have Aaron Rodgers 2. I would have Russell Wilson 3. But Carson Wentz is in that group of the next guys. Matter of fact, I like him a lot better than I like Drew Brees going into this year. I don't think that's unreasonable. You know, you put him indoors with Mike Thomas and with, with Alvin Kamara, with one of the great offensive play calling head coaches of all time in Sean Payton. So it's always interesting though on the Nick Foles won the Super Bowl thing, right? Nick Foles was bad when he was the first starter, he was bad. And by the way, they lucked out not having to play the New Orleans Saints. They played the Minnesota Vikings, who won on a miracle. If you remember, the Vikings were quarterbacked by Case Keenum in the NFC Championship game. That's who he had to beat, Case Keenum. And he just got completely outclassed by a really good defense in Philadelphia. Then they get to the Super Bowl, and that was the year that not only was the Patriots defense trash, but they didn't play Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl. And yes, it's fair to say that they won the Super Bowl. The Patriots also amassed more yards than the Eagles. Eagles never punted. That was more on the Patriots than anybody. But like, if you want to tell me that Foles is really good, nothing he has done outside those last 2 games of, the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl that would lead you to believe he can be consistent. Wentz just took a team of dudes off the street to the playoffs, beat the Dallas Cowboys in a must-win game. Team that everyone says is so good and so talented. Oh, yeah, by the way, Carson Wentz was going to be the MVP of the league that year that he got hurt. So I agree with Sando and the NFL guys more so than I disagree with the players. And I would say the players thing, like Josh Allen is on the top 100 list and Carson Wentz isn't. Come on. And I'm not hating on Josh. I actually like Josh Allen because he knows a little bit of who he is, but he is not Carson Wentz.